Okay, Enrico, I want to start recording right now. So let's make a formal introduction for our listeners. Good afternoon, Enrico. My name is Claudio, and this is my friend Christian from Chile, from the studios in Fairfax City. We are very humble and grateful that Enrico Olivieri accepted our invitation to our show. Enrico, welcome to the show. Okay, were you able to hear me?
Audio now.
Can you hear me well?
The connect. Now is a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay,
I couldn't
a little...
understand what you said.
So Enrico, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, no problem, Enrico. Okay, so let's start with a couple of basic questions. So this has been a very weird year for everybody with the pandemic and bands not able to tour. Without the vaccine, we live in a scary moment. So how this affected your life, your family, your creativity, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for us, for our work, it was a disaster because it's more than 1 year that we cannot perform, we cannot play, and of course we miss the stage, we miss the fans, we miss what we are doing since about 55 years. You can imagine how hard it is for us. But on the other side, stay at home with our instruments. It brought us to have more time to practice first. Second, to compose, to write music. And that was really the nice part, if there is one, of course. No, the story is bad, very bad. But for me, I could stay on the piano 4 hours, which is very much for me every day. I couldn't do before because I'm still working on another. I have another work, and of course, in this period, unfortunately, it didn't go on. So I composed, I wrote, and it was very productive under this aspect.
That's great. I'm happy that you are alive and hasn't affected your family. You know how many people have died there in Europe and here in United States as well. In your case, going back to the beginning, were you born like in a musical family, Enrico? When did you begin playing, I suppose, piano, keyboard at the time? How old were you?
No, I am the first in my family. I don't have other musician in my family, and I started to study pianos when I was 5 years old, and I went on for about 10 years, and then I graduated when I was 30 years old because I stopped, and I graduated in the school for piano. In the meanwhile, I was studying harmony and composition with a very good teacher here in Rome, in Santa Cecilia Conservatory. Yeah. And so I learned. I added something to my know-how about the arrangements and all these things. And yeah, this is so it's about 63 years.
Wow.
Playing piano. Yeah, I'm 68. Oh, yeah, since I was 5.
All right, that's beautiful. That's a very good answer. Go ahead, Christian. We'll go back and forth, Enrico. Some question I will ask you, some question Christian will ask you.
And I will ask you to.
Okay, yeah, feel free to ask questions as well. Go ahead, Christian.
Okay, Enrico, it's a pleasure to greet you from Santiago, Chile. I must tell you that I had the honor and the good chance of playing your music and many other Italian bands, as Claudio was telling you, back in the 90s on a radio station here called Futuro. And it was like a progressive avant-garde station. So it's an honor really to meet you after so long. So I didn't send you this question with Claudio, but I'm curious to know, there's an Enrico Olivieri in Mario Bava's La Maschera del Demonios movie, you know, the 1960, there's somebody named exactly as you, is an actor. Is it just a coincidence? Enrico Olivieri.
Yeah, I know. He has a lot of sites. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So it's a strange coincidence. I was going to ask you that, considering that Italy has one of the richest traditions worldwide, especially in the classical music and bel canto, did any of the band members in the band had any influences from that area when the band began, when Metamorphosis was established?
Not really. And I was at that time, I was the only one who studied, and the piano, and as I was saying to Claudio, harmony and composition. And I brought my know-how in inside the group, but I was the only one at the time. Only Jimmy Spitaleri, that our singer, he has a very strong voice, tenor. He is a tenor, and sometimes he's singing like in the opera. Sorry, like in the opera, and so this is not an influence. It's a characteristic of the group, and that's it. But there are not connection with bel canto.
So it was you, the one that brought some learning, some experience from the more instructed world, so to say. Then, do you think? I mean, how strong was the singer's influence, or did he mark the direction of the band in any way? Because if he had not sung like in a little bit opera, as you say, or if he had other style, maybe the music would have sounded different. How influential was Mr. Spitaleri in the writing?
Well, yeah, we have to say that me and Spitaleri.
Oops, the connection is lost.
We were the one who, Inferno, really, we did everything, and because we adapted many of the melodies and also the harmonies. And can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
The connection is getting frozen sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes it's unstable, and so with Jimmy, we had a new way, because with him he brought many songs in the beginning on sesto, giorno, the first album that we did.
Yeah, sometime again.
But then the real Inferno, when we started. Had the know-how for arrangements, yes, that kind of voice that was adapted to what I was doing. So it was really a good work together.
Sorry, Enrico, some of your explanation was lost. The connection seems to be frozen every now and then. Could you rephrase that very briefly? Sorry.
Yeah, wait. I will try to do something. Anyway. 1 second.
Allá no se perdía.
Maybe now I open one door which is connected with Wi-Fi, and yeah, you didn't tell it. So I will repeat the. My meeting with him, with Jimmy Spitaleri, he put together my know-how in music composition and playing piano with his voice, and we were able to combine his way of singing with what I liked a lot to do. that was a miracle in the beginning. Did you hear?
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
it was perfect.
Now I have a problem. Claudio, can you go with the next question? I have a problem with my Word file.
No, no problem. So at the time when you began, you know, you took piano lessons and then you finished your the equivalent of high school here before you go to college. Do you remember the first band that you were a member of, or the first group that you participated or put together back when you
You mean
were, I don't know, 18 or 20 years old?
before Metamorphosis?
Yeah, before that, yeah, when you finished the equivalent of high school here in the United States, when you finished.
You know, when I started with Metamorphosis, I was 18, and at that time, before we were having a lot of groups, but you know that kind of groups in the school not so important, and they were only local among friends in the school. So no. Metamorphosis was really the first real group that I had.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Okay, Enrico. Now I'd like to ask you about, as you were saying, there was a change in direction between the first records and the famous one, Inferno. How did you decide to do this change, or what brought about this change or evolution? I don't know how you want to call it.
Yeah, that was a decision that we got together with Jimmy, because both of us we were very interested in divine comedy.
Okay.
I told him at that time, I said that, you know, you have a very particular voice, and he really can describe the infernal ambiences, the infernal environment, or characters like Lucifero, the main. You know, he's pointing his finger, and with that kind of voice, we were imagining what would have come out. And so we said, okay, just try. And I remember we were going out with a small guitar on the field, on the park, and write this song. Then we had also, fortunately, we had a room, a place where we can do rehearsals, and we were little by little putting on Hammond organ with the piano, the instruments that I was using at that time. And so the decision came out because Inferno is very adapted to his kind of voice, and the idea which was near Dante Alighieri, near Divine Comedy, that we like.
Okay, thank you. And did taking out the guitars from Inferno, do you think this made this creative stage more towards a symphonic sound? Because guitars would have been different. I mean, with guitars, Inferno would have been totally different. And you were using guitars before Inferno. You understand?
Yeah. But you know that it was not really our decision. The guitarist, in halfway, the guitarist was studying law, and he couldn't do both. So he said, "My friends, I'm sorry, but I have to go." But we had also in our minds with Jimmy the fact that we were so close one to another that when I was playing, he was singing better, and me, I was playing better when he was singing, and the guitar was not disturbing. But you know, it was something else in the balance of sound. So we found the decision very well made, and then we went until today. We went on like that.
All right. Now, did you originally plan a trilogy, or Paradiso and Purgatorio sound better like that, like it's a real trilogy. Did you think of a trilogy at the beginning?
I have to be sincere. No, yeah, we thought we like the Dante, we like Divine Comedy, but we thought Inferno was a strong title, and that we could do strong music like we liked. We couldn't think of, for example, Purgatorio. Purgatorio is a very that we, as you know, I think we did later on. We only so we were not planning at that time, and it remained like that for about 30 years, because it was 72 when we did Inferno, and it was 2004 when we did Paradiso, the second one. So there was a long time between the first and the second, and we decided to do the Paradiso, and then also Purgatorio. Now I know that you will laugh. Because we didn't like the title Purgatorio, you know. I don't know in Spanish here Purgatorio, purga is not a nice a nice word. Paradiso instead, like is a very strong, no, very strong ambience and an important title. And so we did.
It's frozen.
Complete opera, and and then we said, okay, I think we can go on, because the market, but also of the fun, thanks to internet, came back. We could have fans that were listening to our music. That it was like this. So we said, okay, just enjoy and go. And then the rest, Purgatorio, Paradiso, and Purgatorio 2014.
Sorry, Enrico, you said that the word purgatorio had a special meaning in Italian? I only related to what we know about the religious side. What do you mean?
You know, it's we are on the radio, but anyway, I think I can say purga is something that you will have when you cannot go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Purga.
It's like pushing. It's like pushing.
In fact, Purgatorio, the title also of Dante,
you're right.
To clean the person until he can go to the heaven, the paradise. Yeah.
And do you believe in heaven? Are you going to go there for playing fantastic music? I think all musicians should go there.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, one more question for now, Enrico. Why? Well, I think you already answered this question. I was going to ask you why the religious concept in the trilogy. I think you've already explained. It all started with Dante Alighieri, correct? That was the basic reason of all. Oops. Could you get my question?
I'm sorry, but I couldn't. Yeah. Can you repeat, please?
Of course. No, my original question said why the religious concept along Inferno, Purgatorio. I think you already answered that in a way. Dante Alighieri explains that. Oh, the connection is gone.
Yeah, pero que yeah.
Okay.
So still here.
Uf, habla bastante bien,
huh? All right, he's back. All right,
you're
back.
So, yeah, the connection is frozen every now and then. Can you hear and see us well? Can you hear me?
Okay, now yes.
Okay. No, but the original question was if why the
Yeah,
religion?
yeah.
Yeah. So now I understand partially or quite a lot. Do you come from a religious family, or how did you come to get familiar with Dante Alighieri? Is that part of education in Italy, sometime in school? Do you like reading?
Yeah. No, more than that, I'm coming from engineer, engineering. So it's really something that I like more out. I mean, out of the study that I did, and very surprised of the sound of the lyrics. It was so musical. It was musical. The endecassyllab, 11 no, syllables that he was using. If you are seeing, it was very, very nice. More than that, I was also interested in the story of the persons that were there, the Pope, the history of Florence, and all these things. And so I started to, and Jimmy also was inside. So we met each other on this aspect, no, of Dante Alighieri, on Divine Comedy.
Now, this is an improvised question in a way, Enrico. Are you familiar with Gustave Doré's illustrations of the Divine Comedy? The Middle Ages, the illustrator, he would carve in wood, and he made a fantastic illustration of the Divine Comedy in pictures, in drawings. Gustave Doré.
Are you talking of Doré?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I have hold on my computer. I have the images. Yeah, and yeah, of course we didn't use it's English because we have a friend of ours who is really doing nice images, and we use that one, for example, for Purgatorio. And wait, show you something, and I can read this thing. Can you see this? Maybe this image.
Yeah.
This is Purgatorio, the book that I did for
wow.
opera. With the images, there are some of this. You see, this is Beatrice.
Oh,
Beatrice.
nice.
He did it. He was very, very, very good, and we did this book just to accompany the Purgatorio, and Sony gave me the permit to give to our fans together with or LP or CD.
How many copies? How many copies? Sorry, how many copies did you make of the book?
No, it's a private thing. It's a private thing. I mean, I am the one doing. I'm going to the printer and I'm saying, okay, give me 50, 60, 100, what I need, because I have the master. Yeah, there are very few copies till now. Also because we are not advertising.
Yeah. So Claudio, would you like to continue?
Yeah. So at the time, when you begin, after you form your first band and then you release your first record, Enrico, what bands were you listening to? Were you listening to a lot of music in Italy or European or bands from the UK, like, I don't know, the beginning of Genesis or Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin, any of the band had an influence?
It was not so clear, but I understood that you want to know which band I like.
Yeah, where the bands, you were listening to at the time before you began releasing your record? Were you listening to a lot of bands in Italy or in London, bands like Genesis or Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin? Any of them have an influence on you or your music?
Yeah.
Se va la conexión. What can we do?
Cuando vuelva, explicarle, no sé. Debe ser la conexión de él la que está media
Sí, por
débil.
supuesto. Sí, se fue. Hay que esperar que vuelva.
Ahí volvió.
Back?
Yeah, all right. Go ahead, Enrico.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
We can. And yeah, you were asking about the dance. Of course, when I started, before starting with Metamorphosis, I was listening to this kind of music. It was particular. Of course, you will remember the Vanilla Fudge. Remember?
Yeah.
The 67. And they did also arrangement, very psychedelic, for example, of Ticket to Ride of the Beatles. And they did, yeah, they did a lot. And I was started to be interested to this kind of music. Then I went on with Genesis, with yes, but particularly I was, of course, I'm a keyboardist, so Emerson, and with Emerson Lake and Palmer. And I have all the CD, the LP at the time, now the CD. And for me, they were the two of them, Emerson and Rick Wakeman.
Rick Wakeman, yeah.
The two teachers, I'm calling them, reproducing. And those were my favorites bands at that time.
Yeah. Were you buying a lot of vinyl at the time? Albums?
Sorry?
Were you buying a lot of, that was before CD, were you buying a lot of albums, vinyl?
At the time?
Yeah.
You mean the 70? Yeah, I had two choices. One shop near the house, but of course I was ordering. And then there is a market in Rome.
Yeah.
If you know, Porta Portese is called. And it's on the road, market on the road, open space. And there I could find many times, also used one or new one of this LP.
I got you. Yeah.
Enrico, you say that you were buying or listening to Emerson, Lake and Palmer, etc., etc. Would you buy Italian bands as well on record? I'm really curious about that. What were the bands that you admire or follow?
Yeah. You know, at that time, there were not so many Italian groups. The PFM, mainly PFM, and Banco del Mutuo Soccorso, and then Le Orme, the three bands then became more famous than the others. And they are very good, but there were also problems with
distribution.
The companies that will produce this LP, because the market, it was not so good. It was not the same as the pop music, the rock music. Rock progressive had problems. So only these three. But anyway, I didn't buy, I'm sincere, I didn't buy at that time. Okay. But today we became with all of them. And we are also exchanging musicians. Now our drummer is playing with Banco del Mutuo Soccorso, Fabio Moresco. And Jimmy Spitaleri sang for 3 years with Leorme until the last year. So at their show and they are coming to our shows. So there is this nice aspect of music, you know. At that time it was not like this. We were fighting one with the others.
Yeah.
Can you hear Christian?
Yeah.
It's a little bit trembling, but this has connection with my next question, Enrico. I would ask you if the media and the music fans were open-minded, if they were ready to accept new forms of music within the rock area. How did people receive the band, like Inferno, because they were used to different music from Metamorphosis? So how did they react to this change in the band, the media especially?
Yeah, but the media had a small interest because, as you know, the first thing is the market, and at that time, the market for the prog music it was not so good, only for few persons, and instead the rock, the beat music, especially in the 60s, end of the 60s, a little bit beginning of the 70s, gave a lot of, for example, I remember they were selling a million of copies of I don't know, Elton John or the pop music, and we were selling 3,000, 4,000 copies. So also the interest of the media, that they need also persons who read their newspaper, the magazines, that watch the television, and not so many persons were interested. Instead, what we liked, and it was how can I say? It was how we started again in 1996. It was as I was saying before, the internet, and then we noticed that we had a lot of fans, and so it was more when it started in the end of 70s, almost died. There are not so many groups. There were other also groups, but they lost their effort. They were not researching anymore like us, and they switch on punk, which is okay, but nothing to, because many persons are saying, after prog there was punk. No, punk is one thing, the prog is another thing. It's not the continuation.
Yeah. Now, Enrico, I was telling you at the beginning that I had the chance to work for a couple of radio stations here. One really big one, it was the most relevant station, and they had a show on Sunday night at 11 p.m. of special music, progressive music, and they were playing Premiata. Then in the mid-'80s, I began playing Le Orme, which I discovered here. Were there any radio shows? Because, the genesis of many bands became famous when some DJ decided to play their music in the United States, everywhere. Were there any DJs playing progressive rock in radio stations in Italy back then, on radio?
Recently, I have to say, yeah, there are not so many. There is, at the time, and since 20 years ago, there is only one person who is really taking care of this kind of music. His name is Guido Bellachioma. I don't know if you heard about him. No. And there's also a magazine, very nice magazine, was where you can find all the old musicians, and also promoting the new one. But it's really the only one. Other persons are not taking care anymore. He's the one who did, our Paradiso came out in the newspaper shop recently, and also Purgatorio came out thanks to him, because he went to the publisher in force this the prog with there were about 80 LP of different artists, and week by they were coming out. It's the only one that and he has also on like you all the music of Premiata.
Oh, sorry, I went silent because you were frozen again. Now, I was meaning to ask you, Enrico, about the 70s. Were there any radio shows that would play progressive back then as well? Did you have any radio shows in the 70s?
Sorry?
Were there any radio shows playing progressive
in
rock?
the 70s?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had the shows. Yeah, and at the time we played in the there were not so big like today, like the big theaters. There were small clubs where you could be. The most famous, it was Piper Club in Rome in the 70s, where all the pop star and also sound of music they were passing there. And but there were not so many. That's why we stopped, because there was not on the producers, and there was a small interest from the clubs. Our music, for example, you cannot dance, you have only to listen. Instead, the clubs, they needed groups who let the persons.
Okay, Enrico, just to make sure that you understand, I just sent you by chat the other question. That is about how you see the evolution of rock in Italy. Are there people making music like you did? Or are there inheritors, like people that inherited the tradition of prog rock in the 70s, from the 70s?
You are asking me if there are other groups today?
Yeah. Can you check the chat? Can you check the chat? Yeah.
New group. Yeah, there are new persons and new good musicians also. But there is not space anymore for them. When people are listening to prog, they want to listen to that music, the music of that time, not the music of today. And it happens in many other kind of music, but here more than the others. And these are good musicians, but most of the time they have to do the covers. Covers, yeah. And just to
It's frozen. We were waiting for the signal to come back. Sorry.
okay.
We have an infernal connection today. Yeah.
Sometimes you're going away.
Yeah, there's a little message here that says that the bandwidth, el ancho de banda, the signal is low. Oh, that's true. Okay. So, Claudio, you go ahead.
Yeah, so Enrico, it's funny that you mentioned Banco, PFM, Leorme, because we already interviewed guy from Banco, PFM, and we are going to be interviewing Leorme as well next week. We like, Christian and I, we like all those progressive bands, not just from Italy, for other countries as well. At the time, were you guys touring only in Italy when you became popular after releasing a couple of records, or you were driving or to other cities as well?
I cannot.
No.
Si se la mandas por chat.
Oh, no sé, pero tengo que escribirla.
Ah, que se fue la señal.
Can you hear me now, Enrico?
I can, yeah, I can hear, but not really understand. Try to talk.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, we are aware of all those Italian bands. We already, Christian and I, interviewed Banco, PFM, and then we are going to be interviewing Leorme next week as well. So we are familiar with all this band and the great Italian progressive music.
No, it's not clear. It's not clear. Also, the image is steady.
Okay. It better now?
You're not moving. The image is not moving.
Yeah. And I don't know what can we do?
Espera unos minutos. Mira, ¿sabes qué? Yo tengo la pregunta que me queda. Habla de la relación con Leorme y otras bandas locales que él ya respondió de cierta manera. I'm sorry. Oops.
Okay. Can you hear us? Is better, Enrico?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can hear something.
Yeah. So at the time
No.
after you guys released a
Dice que
couple
no.
albums, were you touring only in Italy or you were going to other countries as well?
It seems that he has image but can't hear well. And now he's frozen again.
Yo creo que podemos hacer
¿Mm?
parte 2 de esta cuando tenga mejor, porque si no se va a cortar. Yo no tengo tiempo para editar.
Sí, yo creo que esta hay que dejarla como está nomás para que no te compliques con tu sitio.
Well,
Y la gente entenderá, pues, las que la quieran ver. Pero yo pienso que él tiene que, no sé si será un problema habitual de él, de señal débil, que sea así. ¿Tú le estás preguntando si él salía de Italia? ¿Si tocaba
sí,
fuera?
se había tocado en otra parte, cuando empezaron, después del tercer álbum empezaron ya a hacer giras, pero all right, let's...
I don't know. Yo creo que estas bandas igual son pequeñas, ¿eh? PFM deben ser los más viajados. Y si le mandas un mail, lo verá. Estará concentrado en el... Ah, ahí volvió.
Enrico, you're back.
Okay, now it seems to be better.
Okay, I hope so. So at the time, were you playing with a lot of, were you playing only in Italy, or you were driving to other countries as well?
No, at that time we were playing only in Italy, and that's it. We had a tour in the north of Italy with the other group, the Garibaldi, with Flea on the Honey, with you know, this kind of group together. We were doing these tours, but we started to play abroad after Paradiso. We went to play in Pennsylvania, and we they are offering now Japan to go there, and so requests and the concert came after 1996 when we started again to play. The first part always here in Italy.
And then were you guys selling a lot of records at the time after the show, or
can you
were you selling a lot of records at the time?
In the beginning, no. The beginning, I think some was, you know, when others the beat and then the other kind of one 3,000, 4,000, which is nothing. It was nothing at the time, and Sony and also the user of Paradiso and Inferno. After 96, they sold a lot. I know, because I can see the royalties from our company, from RCI. They sell it really a lot.
And you mentioned, I couldn't hear you well, but you mentioned that after Italy, you guys were touring in here in United States. I think I hear you Pennsylvania, if I hear you correctly.
You said that.
And I couldn't understand.
I was saying that you mentioned before, if I hear you correctly, that you toured here in the United States. You mentioned Pennsylvania and other cities.
No.
Can you see us? Can you see us, hear us, or me?
Now it's better.
Yeah. So we again
simplify it.
Yeah. Where you touring United States here as well? I think you mentioned Pennsylvania.
Yeah. It was in the capital.
What year was that?
Yeah, the Nearfest they were organizing there. It was in 2004. Yeah. The same year that we came out with we did Paradiso. Yeah. But there we played only Inferno as the organizers asked to us. Yeah.
Yeah, the Nearfest. That's a famous. This is a famous concert venue.
Very interesting. A lot of bands. We knew a lot of bands from all over the world.
Yeah, and then only Pennsylvania, or you went to other states or other cities in the United States at the time?
Only Pennsylvania, and that's it. And then I mean, we had other proposals, but we didn't accept, because at the time we after 2011 about we had problems, internal problems, so we couldn't accept. Japan asked me 3 times, the organizers there. But anyway, that was the only show we did abroad.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. And yeah, so go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, Enrico, before the connection goes away to the Inferno again, I have special admiration. Can you hear me?
See, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I have special admiration for two Italian bands, Goblin and Il Balletto di Bronzo YS, sorry. Do you have have you ever interacted with people from Goblin or Il Balletto with Gianni Leone, for example? I think he's a good, very good keyboard player. Fantastic.
Yeah, Gianni is a very good player. We are good friends. We are good friends. Meeting in the shows here in Italy, also with Osanna, with Vairetti, Lino Vairetti. We are. I told you we became so few persons. We know each other, and we are also collaborating. And Gianni, yeah, is doing a good. I mean, a good work, but you know, it's his character and which is good, but you know, he needs to be over and over the rules sometimes. Also musical, which is good, I appreciate a lot, but you know, it's not so commercial. Yeah.
And yeah, sorry.
No, a Goblin. They came from another Italian group with the English name, Flea on the Honey. I don't know if you remember. Yeah. And there was Agostino Marango as a drummer, and the others also, many friends. They were Roman, and they became after that the last together with the keyboardist with Simonetti. Yeah, with the Simonetti, and yeah, Agostino is a big drummer.
Yeah,
so
he's
very
awesome.
very. Yeah. When you have Agostino the music, you can say you feel relaxed.
And what about more recent bands? This is my last question, Enrico. You know, there was a band that became very famous because they mixed progressive rock with heavy rock, and maybe you know some band members, or you know the band. That's Devil Doll, which became huge. It was like a cross between progressive and heavy metal. You know, with this guy, Mr. Doctor, who is a very mysterious person, almost a philosopher, and they made these very limited editions, and they became big in the end from the mid-90s. Devil Doll. Are you aware of the band, Devil Doll?
Devil Doll?
Yeah. They had a studio. They were based in Venice, I guess, and the studio caught fire, and they went to, I don't know, Mr. Doctor, I think, is from Yugoslavia, the ex-Yugoslavia, but it's one of the most famous newer bands of the 90s, so to speak, with people from Italy.
Yeah. And I'm sincere. I don't know. Also because I'm not following. I'm following the new groups. We have some. I mean, in the international ambience, like Night Area and Wobler. I heard something, but no, I cannot say anything about the. I'm sorry.
And how do you spend your free time? I mean, you have lots of free time now. Everybody does. What do you do to relax? What do you enjoy doing? Cooking, watching TV, reading books, watching movies?
Bicycle. My relax is on the bicycle. I'm yeah. I like to go to do long trips, and for example, 10 days to go to the south of Italy, or you know, and that's my hobby, favorite hobby. And then of course, music. It's that's obvious. That's obvious.
Thank you for the time, Enrico. It's been a pleasure, an honor, in spite of all the technical difficulties. It's been really like closing a circle after enjoying your music. Thank you for the time. And I hope that you stay safe, stay healthy, and very creative. Thank you very much.
You too. I hope you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the last two questions, Enrico. So where our listeners can buy your music? Where people can buy your
Music normally is not you know the shops, the physical shops now, they are so little that music is bought on the web, and most of the shop online, they have our CDs, especially Inferno and Purgatorio, because it's promoted and published, distributed, sorry, from Sony. You know, they are a little bit more powerful, and so the Purgatorio can be found of all over this shop online.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much, Enrico. That was our interview with Enrico Olivieri, and we are very grateful and very happy that you were able to allocate some times, and they will be in touch soon, Enrico.
Sorry?
We will be in touch very soon. Thank you very much for your time and your patience and for allocating time for us.
I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck to you. Stay healthy.
Good.
Thank you.